Hey guys, it's been a while. I've been busy doing lots of video and photo events and the like. Today I'm actually here to show you, present to you my top 2 favorite full-frame lenses ever. These lenses are the Milvus 50mm f1.4, the Milvus 135mm f2, and I find after shooting Nikon, Canon, Fuji and the like, this is my top 2 favorite lenses ever. I'm going to be showing you pictures of a model that I was shooting on the Canon EOS R, but just to give you guys some background, I also have the Sony A7 Mark III, I've got the Fuji 50R medium format, I've got the Fuji X-T3, the original 5D Mark I. I've used, I guess, previous cameras like the Nikon D750, Nikon D4, Nikon D3, and the like. And out of using all those professional lenses, this is my favorite 2. The rendering, the sharpness, the contrast, just how the overall look is, it's just amazing. So what you guys can see here is just using my Canon EOS R and the kit lens, or kit macro prime lens, 35mm f1.8, just to demonstrate the model, give her a little introduction. Enjoy. Hope you guys enjoy that. I thought I'd just give you my explanation or my experience why I love the 50mm focal length and the 135. 50mm focal length is one of those, I guess, top 2 focal lengths that people like. When you ask photographers these days, like if you only had one lens, what would it be, 35 or 50mm? I'm the one that sides with the 50mm because I find the 35, which is known for the environmental, I guess, portraiture, I don't like it because at 35mm, it still has a lot of distortion that I don't like. So if you really pay attention to an image and you've got an image of a portrait, of a building, of a scene, anything, there's still going to be some rough distortion on the edges of the frame. So if you have a person, for instance, or a model, your father, etc., and you're showing them like a portrait, their top parts or their bottom parts is going to spread, right? So you might see like bigger legs, bigger heads, and this is not as appealing, which is why I like the 50mm focal length, because there's less distortion and more importantly, there's more bokeh because you're zooming in more, and when you're shooting like 35mm f2 or 35mm f1.4 versus 50mm f1.4, there is a huge difference in bokeh, and you can make it look really nice just using a 50mm using f1.4, and the results are beautiful, as you can see here. So I just like using 50 because you don't have to walk. It's a perfect focal length for any event. I can shoot one event, whether if it's a I know, company dinner or birthday, etc. I could even do a wedding with this one lens. I've never tried it, but I'm pretty sure I could. Very easy because you can walk forward or walk backwards just to get your shot, and the distortion is very, very minimal. In saying that, the 135 is the other Milvus lens that I have and the other focal length that I also have, and this lens is just magical. I only use it if I don't really need to communicate with my subject or with the people I'm trying to shoot, because you have to be very far away from the subject, and if you know how they're gonna pose or if you know what you're shooting and you have to be that far away, the results are magical. Why I like 135 is because it's not too far like a 200mm focal length, and it's not too short like an 85mm or 100mm focal length. That 135 just gives that nice special portrait look, I should say. And why I like to shoot over 100mm is, you may or may not know, but when you're shooting 100mm or over, you get less distortion. It's pretty much distortion free. So it's a very flat picture when you're shooting any type of image, and you get their real facial features, their shape, their curves, and things like that. Because when you compare, if you actually shoot an image 50mm and 135, you'll still see some distortion. I don't really want to say it this way, but it's kind of like shooting a lens under 100mm. You're kind of making them chubbier or fatter, or like making them gain 2 kilos, 3 kilos, 5 kilos in the face, purely because of that distortion. Unless you shoot in a way that kind of lengthens their face, very advanced tip, then you kind of make them a bit skinnier, right? But generally, it kind of makes their legs and overall figure bigger, which is a good thing for guys, but not a good thing for girls. In terms of the aesthetics of the Milvus lenses, or these particular one, the 50mm and 135, these are the top 2 that I would highly recommend buying over all the other designs. What I find special about them, if you guys look at the images, is that the flare control is crazy. Like when you're shooting, when the sun is behind the subject, amazing contrast. Most of the information is still kept. The sharpness is so much nicer compared to the planar Distagon lenses, the first generation Zeiss lenses. So it's sharp and it's got nice contrast. If you guys have heard of 3D contrast, or I guess micro contrast, or 3D looking pop, the Zeiss pop, this has it, and it's beautiful. It's very subtle, but you can see it. You can see more 3D pop in the first generation lenses, but I like how these are sharp, and you can also see the images pop. Combined with a nice like full frame Canon sensor, and it's just beautiful. Minimal editing needed. That's the other thing I like about Zeiss lenses. Like when I shoot with my other Canon lenses, like the 135mm f2 or the other 85mm f1.2 or the 24mm f1.4 version 2, you still need to edit a lot to make it pop. Whereas with these Zeiss Milvus lenses, very minimal editing. What you shoot is what you get, and it saves a lot of time on post-processing. So it gives you that really nice natural look, unless you want to go for a different vintage look or a different matte look. That's all up to you. In saying that, the one caveat that may deter you from these type of lenses is that it's only manual focus. However, why I love these 2 lenses is because of the Canon ecosystem. Because with the Canon EOS R, there is a box, right? So whether you put it in single focus and you point it at a certain subject, and you'll have these anchors, it'll show you when it's in focus or when it's not in focus. And when the 2 lines kind of like go together, the box will go green, and then it's in focus, which is absolutely crazy. So there's like a meter system for you to shoot any type of manual focus lenses. And again, with the Canon EOS R, it also has facial recognition. I don't have any scenes to show you any of these examples. It's just me talking, I'm sorry. But in next videos, I'll do some live examples to show you how all these autofocus systems work. So basically, with the facial recognition, the camera recognizes a face, and all you need to do is turn it closer or further away to get that image to get in focus. And it's beautiful, and so much easier to do that compared to the other mirrorless or cameras out there, right? Like the Sony a7 Mark III, manual focus is okay, but you can't see it. You have to zoom into the picture. My Fuji 50R, you still have to zoom into the picture when you're manual focusing. The focus peaking is nowhere near as good as the Canon EOS R. On Nikon cameras, it does show you that there's like a dot, confirmation dot on the lower left hand corner, but to get there, it's a little bit more tricky. It just shows you, it just tells you whether you need to turn more left or turn more right, but it doesn't tell you by how much. Whereas the Canon, there is a nice meter system. I urge you to try out these lenses. They are beautiful. If I only had 2 lenses in my whole life, or I guess 2 lenses for a kit, it'll be the 50 and 135. Enjoy. These are very expensive lenses, so do your research before purchasing. I would highly encourage it if it was using a Canon ecosystem, but it would be a lot harder to use these lenses with a Fuji, Sony, Nikon camera ecosystem, because it's just harder to autofocus, so manual focus in this case. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. and I'll probably do a video about my medium format camera Fuji 50R, because recently I got a Tech Arc adapter so I can use all my Canon lenses on the medium format piece. That's going to be exciting. We'll talk to you soon. Goodbye.